Strategy Management Series. Video number 96, Strategy Formulation, Step 7, Strategy Evaluation. Estimating Demand. Welcome back to the Ready MBA series on strategy management. In our previous sessions, we delved into strategy evaluation, the crucial seventh step of the strategy formulation process. This stage entails scrutinizing potential strategies for their impact, benefits, costs, and resource requirements. We introduced the Strategy Choice Cascade framework to help the planning team create effective strategies, focusing on, where will we play? In this episode, we'll continue the discussion about defining the product to be offered, with a focus on estimating demand for these offerings. Estimating demand serves as a foundational step in strategic planning for businesses, providing crucial insights into market dynamics and customer preferences. By understanding the level of demand for their products or services, companies can make informed decisions regarding pricing, production, inventory management, and marketing strategies. Estimating demand helps businesses optimize resource allocation, minimize risks, and capitalize on opportunities in the market. Additionally, accurate demand forecasts enable organizations to align their offerings with customer needs, enhance customer satisfaction, and maintain competitiveness in the marketplace. Understanding and forecasting consumer demand for a product or service involves several steps, as outlined by Kotler and Keller in their book Marketing Management. 1. Market research. Begin by conducting comprehensive market research to gather data on consumer preferences, behavior, and trends. This includes analyzing demographic information, psychographic profiles, and purchasing patterns of target customers. 2. Segmentation and targeting. Use the market research findings to segment the market based on shared characteristics and identify target customer segments. Understanding the needs and preferences of these segments is essential for accurately forecasting demand. 3. Data analysis. Analyze historical sales data, market trends, and competitor performance to identify patterns and factors that influence demand fluctuations. Use statistical techniques to identify correlations and forecast future demand based on historical data. 4. Demand drivers. Identify key drivers of demand, such as pricing, promotional activities, seasonality, economic factors, and consumer preferences. Evaluate the impact of these drivers on demand and incorporate them into the forecasting model. 5. Forecasting techniques. Utilize various forecasting techniques, such as time series analysis, regression analysis, and market experiments, to predict future demand levels accurately. Consider both qualitative and quantitative factors in the forecasting process. 6. Scenario planning. Develop different scenarios to account for potential changes in market conditions, consumer behavior, and competitive dynamics. This helps to assess the sensitivity of demand forecasts to different variables and develop contingency plans accordingly. 7. Continuous monitoring. Continuously monitor market conditions, consumer feedback, and competitor actions to refine demand forecasts and adapt strategies accordingly. Regularly update the forecasting model with new data and insights to improve accuracy over time. By following this step-by-step process, companies can gain a comprehensive understanding of consumer demand for a product or service and develop effective strategies to meet customer needs and achieve business objectives. Now let's take a look at demand curves, a key concept and tool to be used when designing pricing strategies and estimating demand. A demand curve shows how the quantity demanded of a product or service changes in response to changes in its price. It's a graphical representation that typically slopes downward from left to right, indicating that as the price decreases, the quantity demanded increases, and vice versa. Essentially, it helps us understand how consumers react to changes in price. When prices are lower, they tend to buy more, and when prices are higher, they buy less. Here's a step-by-step process based on Kotler and Keller's marketing management for creating demand curves for a product or service. 1. Identify market segments. Begin by identifying the specific market segments for your product or service. These segments should represent groups of consumers with similar needs, preferences, and behaviors. 2. Conduct market research. Gather data through market research techniques such as surveys, interviews, and observation to understand consumers' willingness to pay at different price points. This research should cover a representative sample of your target market. 3. Analyze survey responses. Analyze the survey responses to determine how consumers' demand varies with changes in price. 4. Estimate demand at different price points. Use statistical methods to estimate demand at different price points based on the survey data. This involves plotting the data points on a graph to visualize the relationship between price and quantity demanded. 5. Fit demand curve. Fit a demand curve to the data points to represent the overall demand function for your product or service. This curve typically takes the form of a downward-sloping line or curve, indicating the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. 6. Validate and refine. Validate the demand curve by comparing it with real-world sales data and market observations. Refine the curve as needed based on feedback and additional insights gathered from ongoing market research. 7. Monitor and adjust. Continuously monitor market conditions, consumer preferences, and competitor actions to keep the demand curve up to date. Adjust pricing strategies and marketing tactics accordingly to optimize sales and profitability. Deriving a demand curve holds significant importance for businesses as it provides insights into consumer behavior and market dynamics. It helps gauge demand responsiveness to price changes, guiding pricing strategies and revenue optimization. Understanding price elasticity of demand is essential for the planning team to assess how demand reacts to price fluctuations. Inelastic demand indicates minimal changes with price shifts, while elastic demand suggests significant adjustments. A higher elasticity implies that a slight price reduction can lead to substantial volume growth, prompting sellers to consider lowering prices for increased revenue, given that costs remain stable. Price elasticity varies based on the magnitude and direction of price changes, and it can differ between short-run and long-run scenarios. Consumers are typically more price-sensitive during economic downturns, with elasticities varying across product categories and market stages. Research indicates that short-term promotional price elasticities are higher, while inflation can notably influence price elasticities, particularly in the short term. Additionally, price elasticities tend to be higher at the individual item level, and they fluctuate based on the product lifecycle stage. By following this detailed approach to determining demand, companies can effectively understand consumer needs, anticipate market trends, and make strategic decisions to drive business growth and success. And this concludes our episode about demand estimates to help the planning team define the product offering for the strategy being evaluated. Please be sure to check our next episodes where we will continue the discussion of the Strategy Choice Cascade framework, focusing on product distribution and channel strategy. Until then, keep strategizing. See you soon.